My friend, let me play you a video clip.
Yep.
Let me know what you think, okay?
All right.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That sounds like 8 cylinders of freedom.
Yes, and let me show you another image, okay? What does this look like to you?
Well, that looks like a 6.2 liter V8 with a very large supercharger on top.
Yes,
Is that a twin scroll?
yes. Guys, basically, we have the specs on the new 2023 Cadillac Escalade V. V.
Very fast.
Very powerful. We have the specs on the engine. We have the powertrain details. We have the pricing on this, when it's going to be available. And also, TFL Truck will be driving one in June, early June. So that's coming up very soon.
That is very cool. Now, just so you guys know, we saw these vehicles in test mule form about a year ago,
Yes.
running through the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And back then, we weren't 100% sure of what it was until we saw the rear exhaust and realized that they were much larger than your average Cadillac or really any vehicle. They're huge.
Yeah, and they're also squared off. So let's just hit it. I mean, we need to talk about the engine. This is, in recent time, well, this is a production vehicle.
Yes.
But General Motors, it's a 6.2 liter V8 with a giant 2.65 liter supercharger sitting on top of it, which is water cooled. Do you want to guess on the numbers? The horsepower first.
Over 600 horsepower.
682.
682
Yeah,
horsepower.
almost 700 horsepower in this full-size luxury SUV.
Damn.
Coming not from electric motors, but from good old-fashioned V8 power.
It's no hybrid, nothing like that.
No.
10-speed auto?
Yes. So max horsepower, it's at 6,000 RPM. That's why it's kind of it's a screamer.
I'm down with that.
653 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM, which is, you know, it's in the meat of that RPM range.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the one engine you can compare it to right off the bat is the TRX powertrain, which is over 700 horsepower, but it's 650 pound-feet of torque, if I remember, right?
Yeah, so this is a little bit more torque by 3.
Right.
Less horsepower.
Okay. Still.
In a luxury SUV. By the way, it can be had in a shorter wheelbase or the long ESV wheelbase
I was
as well.
going to ask that too. All-wheel drive system, four-wheel drive system?
Yes, it's the latest all-wheel drive system.
Okay.
And of course, it's got many, many luxury features. Still, you know, the premier Escalade interior.
Right.
36 speakers, heads-up display, Super Cruise, right? All that stuff is still there. But I really want to dig into this.
Yeah, and I would imagine that the 6.2, and we'll go over this in a second, has been beefed up substantially in order to work with this twin scroll supercharger.
Yeah, so they updated a lot of it, including the valves, kind of, the top of the engine, basically. They reinforced it for increased heat. And they also have towing numbers and stuff like that.
Ooh, very cool.
So,
well, I wanted to point out, for those of you who are not familiar with superchargers, this one is water-cooled, and you can clearly see the little radiators and the little hose inlets for the water-cooled system. So that's actually a real plus because these things can heat up quite a bit, and different superchargers work with heat in different ways. So and General Motors has a lot of experience with supercharged V8s.
yeah, and mostly in their performance sedans and coupes and sports cars.
Well, yeah, I mean Camaro.
Camaros, they have CT5Vs, CT4Vs, and others.
I have a question, and I want you to think about this as we go through this. Why is the Blackwing not the engine in this?
I was afraid you were going to ask me this. I don't know, but because remember, they had this wonderful engine in the CT6, the big sedan.
Right.
Yeah, it was high tech. It was high end.
They spent like $1 billion just developing that one engine, just that one engine, and as far as I can tell, it's been discontinued. That's it. One time done.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with that. Maybe it wasn't up for truck duty. I mean, the 6.2 has been around in the truck for many, many years.
It has, and
Yes.
and that. Okay, I know you guys are about to say, well, why is this powertrain not in the new Chevrolet, Silverado,
ZR2.
right, or the AT4X.
Yes, the Sierra. Maybe, GM, if you're listening, maybe it's coming in more high-end versions of those trucks. Maybe, I mean, we don't know. But this, I mean, I think this is kind of almost the last hurrah for the traditional big, large SUV because it's taken the 2023 model. It's going to go on sale this summer. And before we talk about some other specs, because we have 0 to 60 times, quarter mile times, do you want to mention price or save that for a little later?
Yeah, maybe we end with price because it's going to be ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be. But let's go over a couple things with the performance numbers. First of all, I'm sure you guys are curious what's 0 to 60 times according to General Motors.
Yeah, this is Cadillac speaking. 4.4 seconds. We haven't been able to verify this.
4.4 seconds.
Yes, this is a quite heavy SUV, over 6,000 pounds of curb weight. The TRX technically is around the same numbers. So this is a drag race I want to see. I want to see a TRX line up against this and see, you know, who takes
that would be a hell of a cool drag race. Yeah, I hope we can make that happen. Okay, towing numbers.
Towing numbers, 7,000 pounds. Okay, I don't know if anybody's going to tow with this, but if they're towing their prize, you know, Kentucky Derby winning horse or a big luxury boat, maybe you can still do that.
Well, 7,000 pounds, you can almost tow a TRX.
Yes, almost.
Because the trailer would weigh too, yeah. Okay.
But they also said quarter mile time of 12.74 seconds. You know, this is well in the 12s.
Yeah,
quarter mile time. So, and you kind of saw that in that clip. It kind of squats down. It just uses all its all-wheel drive traction to just go.
Is that air suspension on this?
Yes, height adjustable. Different modes. It has sport mode. It has tow haul mode, obviously, normal driving modes. And it's still a Cadillac, so technically it's supposed to ride pretty smooth. And we'll have to find out exactly what it rides.
I've driven a variety of different CTS or V models, I should say, and they've been pretty good trade-offs in terms of comfort and performance, with a little bit of a lean towards performance. So I'm curious to what they're going to do with a giant Escalade. We've been waiting for one of these for a long time, and Cadillac, it's not the first time that they put a powerful engine in an SUV, but this is the first time I can recall that they've done a factory supercharged engine. Now, in order
just get a closer view.
Yeah, have a look-see.
Yeah, just come up a little bit. Come up a little bit and see what it's like.
Now, while you're looking at that, in order to make this happen, they really did have to go through the top end of the block and really beef it up, because we are talking about much higher tolerances in order for everything to work right.
Exactly, and this is kind of a key. First of all, the wheel is unique, and then the quad exhaust pipes, you can see them sticking out back, and the little hitch cover, so the hitch is actually hiding, and a little bit of a, I wouldn't call it the diffuser, it looks like a stylized just element on the bumper.
I honestly don't think this thing...
Because I don't think, I mean, this is still a brick into the wind at some point.
Yeah, but it has a little spoiler up here too.
That's important.
Yeah.
So, and I really like, you know, kind of the two-tone, you know, midsection here.
I love every angle except for the front. I'm still not completely on board with the nose design. I know some of you guys love it and some of you guys hate it. I'm kind of on the fence. I just don't quite know. Yeah. There's something about that I don't, it just kind of turns me off. And I know this is actually functional, this lower lip here, but I would probably tear that off in 2 days by accident if I owned it. Seriously.
Well, hopefully not.
I would. I mean, it's not much higher than a curb, and it's just low.
So starting price, and basically you're all in. Like we talked about, you know, premium stereo,
all the
high-end materials,
right.
Ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, heads-up display,
right.
Super Cruise, semi-autonomous mode, right? All that stuff. Price. $149,990. It's basically a
$150,000 truck.
Yes.
$150,000.
So it's way more than the Hummer EV truck, which is $112 for the first edition. It's way more than TRX. TRX starts at like 77, 78 and goes up to 100K.
My God.
It's way more than the Raptor. It's way more. You know what? It's not way more. You know, maybe like the Range Rovers. You know, the big Range Rovers, or the big, like Maybach Mercedes SUVs.
Maybe the Maybach, but I mean, that's still... now, I know Cadillac's going to say, well, it's premium, so you're going to have to pay the premium price.
And it's fast. I mean,
Yeah,
it's fast.
sure.
It's unique. It's got V8 power. It's in that stratosphere. It's approaching almost like the Lamborghini Urus territory as far as performance and getting up there in price as well.
Yeah, I would say so. So currently the most expensive Cadillac and one of the most expensive
SUVs,
production
period.
SUVs out there. Yeah, wow.
I mean, I know there's Bentleys and Rolls Royces.
Yeah,
we know that, of course, but we're talking about a little bit more performance oriented.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of money, but we have to drive it to really say what we think about it. But I will say this, that the numbers in terms of power and torque, impressive.
Yeah, and of course the transmission should be beefed up for this as well.
I would imagine so.
It is a 10-speed. So stay tuned in June. We're going to have full driving impressions. I hope I get to race somebody.
Yeah.
So that's going to be amazing.
Would you guys pay $150,000 for a Cadillac? One that's fast? I'm curious. I mean,
Well, if you won the lottery.
exactly. I mean,
you won lottery.
if you're making $30,000 a year, obviously not. But if you're in the money and you can afford some of these high-end SUVs or luxury vehicles, would you consider this? I'm curious.
Yeah, let us know. And go to alltfl.com for everything automotive or tfltruck.com for a lot more truck stuff.
See ya.